We will now begin the City of Boynton Beach City Commission meeting today, Tuesday, June 4th, 2019 at 6:30 p.m. Would everyone please rise for the invocation led by Pastor Kelly from Calvary Chapel, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance led by Commissioner Ty Pinsurga.
Please join me as we ask for a blessing of this time. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for your goodness. We thank you for life. We thank you for breath, for the food that you provide for us, for the friends, for family, for opportunities that you give. We thank you for our leaders, for our leadership here. We thank you for our police department, for our firefighters. We thank you for all of our first responders, and we pray to continually keep them safe. Most importantly, we thank you for the people that make up the city of Boynton Beach. We ask for wisdom. We ask for wisdom to use the power of choice to seek the peace and the prosperity of Boynton. We ask for that wisdom to help us build a preferred future that has a long-lasting legacy. We ask that you would bless this time. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
May I have a roll call, please?
Mayor Stephen B. Grant.
Here.
Vice Mayor Justin Katz. Commissioner Mac McCray.
Here.
Commissioner Christina Romulus.
Present.
Commissioner Ty Pinsurga.
Here.
There is a quorum.
All right. Any additions, deletions, or corrections to the agenda? I've been asked to remove, item 6C? Table, item 6C. And I'd like to amend item 5B to include travel to the Florida League of Cities conferences for the board. May I have a motion to approve the amended agenda?
A move. Second.
All those in favor state so by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Informational items by members of the City Commission. Vice Mayor, would you like to begin?
Nothing to disclose.
Commissioner McCray.
Thank you. Nothing to disclose, but I did get a chance to attend the Alameen Interfaith dinner that was given here in our city, and I want to personally tell Commissioner Ty Pinsurga, I got your name right. Thank you for calling me and waking me up and telling me to come. I got a chance to go again for the second time. The event was very beneficial to all of us. But I just want to say, too, I guess everybody said that I'm always giving accolades to the police department, but I attended the funeral of Sergeant Joe Crider. And the Boynton Beach Police Department, they made a pact. And they said for every milestone in his kids' life that they would attend. And when I witnessed them at the graduation, it was very impactful for me when I looked and seen a whole section of blue. And the kids, they was like, wow. And they told his son, said, they're here for you. And he wanted to be modest. He said, yeah, they are. But I really want to say, and that is what, the Boynton Beach Police Department, they do positive things. Chief, I want to say to you, make sure you go back and tell the men and women in blue that you all are making a dynamite impact in these kids' lives. You might not see it right now, but that whole graduation class, they was gassed. They just said, I can't believe they took time out to come out just to do this. Your neighborhood officers program, you might not hear that much about it, but it's working. The Cub Scouts, they're working. The Boy Scouts, it's working. You might not see it right now, so keep casting your bread up under water. It's going to come back, and I'm just saying, I have to give you your flowers to men and women in blue, and you, sir, while you live, so that you know I'm proud of you. Thank you.
Commissioner Romulus.
Yes, a few things to disclose. I attended the Greater Boynton Beach Chamber of Commerce's Government Affairs Council meeting and had a chance to share with that board and the members of the Greater Boynton Beach Chamber, all the changes and things that are coming on board here in Boynton Beach, and they're very excited about that. So just excited to kind of keep the community updated on what's happening here in Boynton Beach. Also did the same thing, meeting with residents of Chapel Hill and Mission Hill in District 3 to speak with them and address some of their concerns that they had in regards to changes happening in the city. Special thank you that I want to send out to the veterans, especially Tom Kaiser, for hosting annually the Memorial Day ceremonies and just making sure that we continue to honor the lives of those who sacrifice so much for us to enjoy our freedom each and every day that we get to do that here in this country. Special congratulations that I want to send out to all of the graduates. I know that a lot of people have been celebrating these past few weeks, so all the elementary school, middle school, high school, and higher ed students, I want to send you personally congratulations from me. And I also want to take a moment of privilege to congratulate my oldest son, Christian Alexander, who graduated from kindergarten this past week. So I'm very excited for that. I'm a proud mom, and happy to see him continue to do more things. Thank you, Mayor.
Commissioner Pinsurga?
Nothing to disclose at this time.
All right. For myself, on May 22nd, I want to thank the board for allowing us to donate a car to South Tech. We ended up having a cruiser delivered to them. They are very appreciative of that. I attended the League of Cities installations, where I'm on the board of directors again for a second year. The 23rd, I attended the Center for Child Counseling's ACES breakfast, which stands for Adverse Childhood Experiences. I was on the Palm Trans Service Board. On the 24th, the Friday, I placed flags on the graves of veterans. I attended the Boca Chambers annual business luncheon and went to Somerset Academy for their fundraiser for Gold Star Mothers with our VFW 5335. On the 26th, I attended our own Boynton Beach Memorial at our cemetery. I'd like to thank all the staff that was there to make it such a great event in honor of our veterans who have died in service and who have passed away. I attended the All-in Interfaith Dinner on the 27th for Memorial Day. I went to the VFW Post 5335 for their pole ceremony, the Forgotten Soldier Outreach at Palm Beach County Cemetery, and then went to American Legion 164 for their Memorial Day barbecue. On the 28th, I met with the related group regarding their future development with Boynton Beach Mall. On the 29th, I attended the Transportation Disadvantaged Local Coordinating Board. On the 30th, I was the keynote speaker for Franklin Academy's 8th grade graduation. On the 31st, I attended the Boynton Beach General Employees Public Pension. And then on Saturday, June 1st, I hunted my first lionfish, and so I was very happy that the CRA was able to hold this lionfish derby. For those that don't know, lionfish is an extremely invasive species that is decimating our local fish population, which help keep our coral reefs clean. I was able to see a lot of the loggerhead turtles that were on our reefs getting cleaned by the other fish. I saw a moray eel, and in total we were able to catch over 535 fish. And just put that in perspective, each one of those fish eats more than one fish a day. So we're saving tens of thousands of fish every month by having that tournament. And so I'm looking forward to do more diving in Boynton Beach. On the 2nd, I attended the iftar dinner with the DACA Club over at Al Amin, and that is all I have to disclose. Yes.
Thank you. In regards to what happened last week at Virginia Beach, I'm just saying, my heart is heavy, probably like the rest of our hearts are heavy. But I got with the city manager and the rest of the staff. I stuck my head in the door and I made sure to tell them, that we are concerned about the safety and welfare of all of our employees, whether they are working inside of a building or outside of a building. Your safety is our number one concern, and we're addressing some issues. I'm just saying so that we make sure that we will have things in place. At least we can kind of ensure that, nothing will happen. So that's what we're at now. We're getting some things in place, so we are concerned about your safety. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Is there anything further to disclose? Seeing none, moving on to announcements. Our first announcement is from a post-session update presented by Representative Mike Caruso.
Thank you, Mayor Grant, Vice Mayor Katz, commissioners, and the residents of beautiful city of Boynton Beach. Hope everybody's doing great tonight. It's great to be home, actually. I got elected back in November, won by 32 votes, which is, thank you very much. And immediately after, a couple hours later, I was on the road to Tallahassee, and we got back pretty much the first week in May. So we were busy up there and got a lot of things done. And I just wanted to, I appreciate the opportunity to give you a legislative update on what transpired up there. The one thing that we are mandated to do as a legislature is to pass a budget, a balanced budget, mandated by the state constitution. And we did pass a budget, $91.1 billion. I want to start off by saying, though, that of that budget, we set aside $3.5 billion into a savings account for a reserve account, which brings our reserves up to about $8 billion in the state of Florida. And as a result, we are the strongest, financially most sound state in the entire country. So, rest assured, we are very healthy here. We have the best bond rating of any state in the country, and it farewells for the future. Of that $91 billion, the other 87 that we spent, we allocated $38 billion towards health care. The one thing that the governor did, he kind of worked towards a few different things. Health care, the environment, and education. He was very, very, very direct with his goals when he came into his seat as governor. And he let us know from the very beginning that those were his priorities, health care, environment, and education. And I think we came through for him by allocating $38 billion to health care, another $16 billion to K through 12 education. And now the significance of the $16.2 billion, it was an increase of $800 million over the prior year. And what it was is that works out to an increase of $243 per student. Okay, in our school systems, our public school systems. So, give you a little relativity of that. Last year, we had just over $40 increase, the year before, $40. And the year before that, there was zero increase for our students. So for us to come out with $243 is a significant statement. And now the per student allocations up around, I believe, $7,700 for our school system. We invested $8.25 billion in our higher education, in higher education. And what's exciting about our higher education program is that we've transformed the education process to prioritizing affordability and pathways to careers. No longer does our education system, do we send our youth, our young adults into the education system, the universities and colleges, just to get an education. We want them to get a job. And so that's a priority here. And as a result of that new direction we've taken over the last couple of years, we for the third year in a row, U.S. News has ranked the state of Florida as the #1 higher education system in the entire country. So you can be proud of that one too. And hopefully we carry that forward. You see it in the colleges, and that they've got vocational training. You see it in the universities with their internship programs, working together with businesses throughout the state. My son, one of my sons, I have 7 children, and some of you may know a number of them, but one of them just signed up for the HVAC program at Palm Beach State College. And when he graduates from that 20-month program, they are lined up to take him. They almost guarantee a job at between $50,000 and $60,000 a year. Not a bad deal. So I'm real excited about that. The environment, we allocated almost $700 million towards Everglades restoration. When I got to Tallahassee, the main word, the whole vibe that you heard was water, water, water. Clean water, and we actually got sat down by the entire legislature, both the House side and the Senate side, convened for about an hour and a half, and we heard Speaker Oliva and President Galvano from the Senate side speak to us about their priorities to clean up the water in the state of Florida, and with the $700 million allocated for Everglades restoration, I think we've made a great step towards that. And that included that. In addition to that, we have $33 million for Florida Forever, and $4.2 million for Red Tide research. Red Tide been shut down our beaches last year. I don't know if Boynton Beach's beach got shut down any last year, but some of the, I know Boca Raton did, and some of the other, Singer Island got shut down. So we want that to stop happening. As you know, Red Tide's been around since Ponce de Leon's time. He wrote about it in his journals, and we're still trying to figure that out. So and that we will. We allocated $50 million towards beach renourishment. On the business side, we put $40 million into Job Growth Grant Fund and $16 million into Enterprise Florida. Scaled back from prior years, but we still are, still want to have money available to entertain new businesses coming to Florida. And then $21 million for libraries throughout the state of Florida. And I know that Boynton, I believe Boynton, you're rebuilding, right? Your library.
Correct.
Okay, yeah. So hopefully you'll get your fair share of the $21 million, and then we allocated $21 million towards the arts. District 89, Boynton's right in the middle of it, and I was proud to gain appropriations for the District 89 and Palm Beach County of $42 million. So that's quite a bit of appropriations for a freshman, and in the House of Representatives, that's pretty huge. So I worked hard at it, and money for things like the lab school down at FAU Henderson, money for a new school there, $11 million. Money for Alzheimer's care right here in Boynton Beach. And the Alzheimer's program over at, I can't think of the name of the church on Seacrest, but yeah, look at that.
Yeah.
And I didn't mean that as a pun. But yes, $2 million towards that. And then there's a program, the Wayne Barton program, after school program down in Boca Raton in the Pearl City area. Great program. We were able to obtain $350,000 for them for the first time. He's been working that program for 30 years, and he does a lot of great thing with kids. So we passed a tax bill, and everybody will be interested in that. The tax bill basically, it provided for $121 million in tax cuts. We're going to have the same sales tax holiday, back to school sales tax holiday. And we are also going to have a hurricane preparation holiday, sales tax holiday.
That's going on right now, correct?
Right now, yes, sir. And we also are cutting the commercial sales tax on commercial leases from 5.7% to 5.5%. So we cut that 1/5 of 1%. And our goal is to get it down to zero, that sales tax. Let's see what else we've got. Oh, we've got the referendum for the millage. There was back in November of 18 during the election, we passed a referendum. Palm Beach County did. It passed by 72% to add 1 mill to raise money for non-chartered public schools, for public safety and for capital improvements. And there was a bill that came to the floor, and it looked like it was going to be retroactive and nullify the will of the people. I worked hard with the city. I worked hard with the Senate and the House leadership to get that date changed from 2018 as an effective date, make it 2019, so that the referendum that we all voted for could go through and the monies be allocated appropriately as we had deemed in our vote. So I was proud to be part of that. Bills, I sponsored a couple bills myself. One that is I know that we have a problem in Delray Beach where I live, and you might have it here in Boynton Beach. I'm certain you do. I passed a sober home bill, and what it does is it cracks down on the illegal process whereby the patient brokers they broker patients from the treatment centers to the sober homes, and then refer them back up to the patient centers or rehab centers, and you end up taking a patient who's trying to recover through addiction, recover from addiction, through this what we call the Florida Shuffle. And every time he sends them back up to the treatment centers, the patient broker gets an illegal kickback of $4,000 or $5,000, and it's an abuse of those individuals that are trying so hard to recover from addiction. And then the bill also it allows for more qualifications or more certifications of peer specialists. Those are individuals that try to help those in recovery, with the idea that they can talk to the individual in recovery and say, I know how you feel, I felt the same way, I found this to work and it got me through my recovery. And so my bill provides for further certifications. And trying to wrap it up, Mayor, I did pass another bill. It had to do with putting religion as one of the things you can't discriminate against in our K through 20 school system. And that's it, and I'm here for any questions Deus may have for me.
My first question would be is that you've done your first year as elected official. What do you plan to do next year to make it even better?
To make things even better?
Yeah.
Well, I want to fight for home rule. It's something that's getting a little out of hand up in Tallahassee. Not as bad as the year before, I understand, or the year before that, but I do want to make sure that things like scooters and things like plastic straws are still in your control, and among the other zillion things that you're all responsible for, that I don't think that we should have our heavy hand of Tallahassee on, because who's better to know the issue than right here in our backyard? So that's one of the primary things.
All right, thank you. Vice Mayor?
Yeah, first I wanted to thank you for coming here today, Representative, and thank you for your vote in defense of the local referendum. As president of the Teachers Union here in Palm Beach County, as well as an elected official in a city that stands to benefit from those increased funding for our schools, I do appreciate you taking a principled stance, and I believe being the only member of your caucus to vote in support of that amendment to make sure that Palm Beach County's referendum was protected. So I do applaud you for that. I do appreciate as well a renewed focus on funding for public education. And I know I've seen you at some of the delegate meetings here in Palm Beach County, and you've asked some pointed questions of our school board and shown an interest in ensuring that our K through 12 system is adequately funded. So I'd certainly ask that as you go up for your second term or your second year of your term and any future terms that you serve, to keep a renewed pressure on the legislature and the governor to continue to allocate additional funds to this system. As you may know, and I'm sure you've heard a million stats during the course of your time up there this year, per student funding in Florida has fallen from approximately 36th to 45th since the recession. Teacher pay in Florida lags the national average by over $12,000 and annually ranks in the lowest 5 states in the country. So I can say personally, from living and working in the school system in Palm Beach County, we have the best school district in the state, and I can only imagine what more we could provide for our students if we had the additional funding. So please keep your focus on public education and do what you can, for the residents of Palm Beach County to ensure that we can strengthen our school system in the future. But again, I appreciate some of the things you did this session, and I appreciate you coming back here to update us.
Well, thank you, Vice Mayor. I know that the 243 per student is only a step in the right direction. I think another 243 next year might be a better step in the direction, might bring a little more parity in terms of teachers' pay, in terms of in relation to the country, and I will be fighting hard for that. I know that our teachers are so well underpaid that they need an increase. So I'll be working hard for that. Thank you.
Yes, Commissioner McCray.
Thank you. Representative Caruso, first of all, I want to say thank you for your report. Last commission meeting, we had our lobbyists who appeared before us, and we had some issues that we sent up and some concerns that we sent to Tallahassee. I did not check your voting record on how you voted on our concerns, but I'm just saying next year, rather your second year that you'll be up there, when you see the word Boynton, you know, that's all I need to say, sir. You get what I'm coming from. I can't tell you how to vote, but just, you know, we need the funds sent back here to Palm Beach County. Thank you.
I'll be waving the flag, the Boynton Beach flag.
Thank you. All right. Yes, Commissioner Romulus.
Thank you. Representative, I do thank you as well for taking a meeting with me when I went up to Tallahassee. We sat down, we talked, and you weren't rushing me out the door. Sometimes I think as Tallahassee representatives tend to do because they're busy and they're occupied. But I do thank you for your time for sitting down and listening. And I also would like to just echo the previous commissioner's comments in terms of we had several water projects that we sent up before the legislature, and we weren't able to get any of them fulfilled. So I'd ask for your support, your continued support in upcoming years as we continue to strive to get those water projects fulfilled.
They were appropriations products, Commissioner?
Yes, they were. Correct.
Okay, well, I'll be happy to work with you this summer on you know, sponsoring appropriations, you know, for the next session.
Great, thank
So
you.
I'll have my staff contact you.
And while you're contacting, your staff is contacting us, contact our lobbyists too, please. I'm just saying because we have them in Tallahassee working for us.
Absolutely.
Just saying.
My staff is here. One of my staff's here, Nicholas Cannon, and he'll be reaching out to you, and we will do that.
Any other questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor.
All
Thank
right.
you, Commissioners. Have a great evening. See you later, Boynton Beach.
Our next announcement is for me to accept a plaque as token of appreciation to the city from Future 6, a local nonprofit organization that provides free ocean-based programs to children with special needs.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners, and ladies and gentlemen. I've really been privileged to be employed by the city of Boynton Beach for a little over 33 years. And I can honestly say that I've worked with many, many nonprofit organizations, but few, if any, have I been able to witness with as much passion and dedication towards accomplishing their mission, which includes providing children with different abilities the opportunity to enjoy Mother Ocean by going surfing. And I can tell you that on more than one occasion, I've been able to see parents who have come out there and literally been in tears because it's hard to imagine that a child dealing with some of the challenges that they have to deal with can actually get up on a surfboard and enjoy what is something that any child here in Florida should be able to enjoy in their lifetime. And for them to actually come out and want to present to us a plaque of appreciation for the support they get from us is something that I consider very, very special. So tonight I've asked their president, Benjamin Ricciardi, and their executive director, Donnie Otofaro, to come and join me to present this beautiful plaque to our mayor, which again is their token of appreciation to the city for allowing us to take part in this special program they come at Oceanfront Park. They'll be out there once a month again for the next couple months. I'll let them tell you the next upcoming dates, but I would truly urge you that if you have time to come and join us, this is a privilege to see what we are able to accomplish with some dedicated volunteers and some of these very, very special children and their parents, that these smiles are invaluable, and it's truly been a blessing for me to be part of it. So I want to stand away and let them take a few seconds to let them introduce the rest of the board and then present this beautiful plaque to the mayor. So Ben.
First of all, I want to say thank you to the commission for having us tonight. Thank you to the city of Boynton Beach, especially Wally and the Parks and Rec Department. If it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be who we are. We wouldn't be able to make the impact that we're making out here. So tonight, I'm blessed to be joined with some of our core members, some of our board, Donnie Ottafaro, our executive director. Steve Abbott, he's a program director for the Love of Surfing surf program for children with special needs that we run right here in Boynton Beach. We have Casey Feely, our promotions director. We have Sandy Robinson, our treasurer, and we have Scott Keene, our development director, all here tonight just to say thank you to the city, especially to Mayor Grant, for providing us the foundation to actually run our programs and make a bigger impact on our local communities. And hopefully, with your example, other communities and other cities and municipalities follow suit and allow us to expand our reach to these other coastal communities to provide some sort of opportunities for these children who otherwise wouldn't have this opportunity. So tonight, we all wanted to come up here and say thank you for everything you've done and your continued support for Future 6.
They already left?
Yes,
I had a question.
Yeah, it was. So I just want to make sure that our city staff is making sure that any of the announcements that they have, that we can promote that through our social media, to making sure that everyone knows the great work that Future 6 is doing in the city of Boynton Beach. And there is another announcement that I forgot to mention. Does the board mind? I was just saying that we're going to work together to make sure that any type of announcement that you have, please let us know. The dates of all your future events, any fundraisers. We would like to work with you, and I think the board has a couple questions as well. Commissioner Pensurga?
Sorry we shot out. We're just so excited to be here.
That's all right. Good evening.
Hi.
So I've been meaning to volunteer for your organization for quite some time, but every time I look at the pictures in the Facebook group, I'm not a surfer. I don't know how to surf. Is this still something that I could participate in? What are the different ways we can volunteer?
Go ahead.
Hi, everybody. Donnie Ottafaro, co-founder and CEO of Future 6 Helping Hand Fund since 2012. When we started this surf program here in Boynton Beach in 2016, we used to float between Lake Worth and Boynton for the simple fact that we needed local surfers and local non-surfers as well. I'm sure you can swim.
Yes.
The way we work our surf program, safety being number one, is we have a very large volunteer group of very well-known surfers in the area. Those are the ones that are actually in the water, pushing kids in and picking and choosing little ripples that we're pushing them into to get the most out of that. Folks like yourself that want to help out and volunteer, we look for spotters in the water that are catching these kids and cheering them on, to folks on land, on the shoreline, making sure that safety is always number one. So 100%, please come out.
Thank you.
No experience required.
All right, thanks.
Our next date is actually coming up in a couple weeks. It is, thank you, June 22nd. It's a lot of dates to remember with everything our events director gets going on here. Any other questions?
What time?
Sorry, June 22nd at Oceanfront Park. We run from 8 a.m. for volunteers. Participants and families will usually start to show up around 8:30. We end at noon. It's just a
I
just
just
a
don't
fun
want
4 hours.
Commissioner to be late, that's all.
We take them at all times. They come all times. I think in May we had 41 children show up. So we look to usually have approximately 3 times that in volunteer support, just for the safety of it. And it's quite the scene at Oceanfront, as Wally will tell you.
All right. Yes, Commissioner Romulus.
I just want to say congratulations to you guys. I know you're giving the plaque of appreciation to the mayor and to us, but really the words of accolade go to you, because you guys are tremendous, and the fact that you even came up with this idea and now you're pursuing it and you are doing something that's truly life-changing. We in Boynton Beach, we take people of all needs very seriously, especially with our barrier-free park, and now to have another point or another resource that we can give families of special needs. Myself being a nurse, I cared for children and families with special needs, so they kind of hold a place that's very near and dear to my heart. So seeing you guys doing what you're doing, it's truly just It's heart-wrenching. So thank you so much for what you do.
Thank you very much. Thank you. You know, Steve Abbott, our program director, and I grew up together 25, 27 years ago, something like that. We're getting old, we forget. And we grew up surfing here. And this is our way of giving back to not just the community, but as well as the surfing community is a big deal to us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
I'm going to leave a few trifolds. If anybody wants more information about what we do and where we're located and how to get in touch with us to volunteer, they're going to be right up here in the front. And thank you guys for having us tonight.
All right, thank you. So the announcement that I forgot is that this Thursday, June 6th, we are having an event at our Veterans Park for D-Day, which is celebrating their the 75th anniversary of that battle. In addition, we are also going to have a speaker on the Battle of Midway that helped turn the tide in the Pacific Front. So I'd like staff to help make the public aware of that event as well. Is there any other announcements from the board? Seeing none, we'll move on to public audience. Individual speakers will be limited to 3-minute presentations. Please state your name and address for the record.
Hey, I brought reading for the summer. Yeah. Susan Oyer, 140 Southeast 27th Way. The first part of this is the first 2 pages is a story about Baltimore and the benefits of city greening and how it's made a difference there, and they're rolling this program out across hopefully the rest of the nation. But I did make a point of kind of bracketing out the things I thought you would find interesting to read. The last page is about a variety of chemicals in sunscreens, makeup, and fire retardants, things we should be aware of and avoid, especially in summer season. There's quite the list of chemicals to avoid. I got this from streamtosea.com. Surprisingly enough, they didn't mention titanium dioxide, which has been shown to cause organ failure, but it's in almost every single sunscreen. And they're saying the benefits of preventing the skin cancer outweigh the organ failure and destroying the ocean life. So, I guess take that however you want to. And then I pulled a nice thing out of People magazine that listed a bunch of ingredients and how it's showing up in your makeup, colognes, deodorants, stuff like that, and some of the side effects, none of which are good. So, and on a more positive note, Mayor Grant, I didn't forget your challenge to me at the last meeting. You asked for me to find any places that had banned styrofoam. Orlando just did something in the last week, so I emailed all of you a link to that from the newspaper. The city of Hollywood did something back on October 1st in 2018. I just emailed that to all of you. And Gainesville back in January passed something. It was supposed to go into effect this August 1st, but they have now delayed it to January 1st of 2020. So I emailed that to all of you as well. So I hope 3 examples was enough. I can go looking for more if you want.
That's all right. We'll have our staff look at it and see what we can do.
Great. Thank you so much.
My name is Michael Greenberg, 3240 Ridge Lane. I had a problem with some construction and some flooding, and I was going sideways for a few weeks. And I came to a council meeting, and Andrew Mack and Gary Dunmeyer got involved. And they came out and they recognized the problem. They acknowledged the problem. They created a plan. The plan was executed. And I just came here to express my gratitude and appreciation. And the utilities department who did the work, they did a great job.
Oh, we really?
And only because I own 2 minutes and 20 seconds.
Yes.
I'd like to mention that I have a medium-sized dog, and my fiance lives in Palm Beach Gardens, and I go up there all the time. My dog loves the beach, and of course we don't have one. I know that something happened in December, but it never really went forward, and I don't really know the backstory. But I can tell you that in Juno Beach, that beach is immaculate, and my fiance actually belongs to a group that does volunteer work and cleans the beach, and it's like we got 14 people and there's no garbage. So I don't see it being an issue, but there could be other issues that I'm not aware of, and I just wanted to, as long as I'm here.
Well,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Greetings, Mr. Mayor, commissioners, staff, fellow Boynton residents. Alan Hendricks, 122 Southeast 4th Avenue, Boynton Beach. I just wanted to let you all know, if you haven't seen it on Facebook yet, that we are having a grand opening of the Melt Bus in Boynton Beach out at First Transit. It's on the other side of Hunter's Run, back where the buses stay. This is, in case you didn't know, I'm not sure what everybody knows, this is a 40-foot transit bus that that my friend Annette Gray has taken and reconstructed. It's a mobile classroom. The front part is classroom. There's a small conference area. It's been repainted. It's getting new decals. I shined up the wheels on it. And Friday, 6 o'clock, happy hour, join us. Music, food, and come check out this bus. It's a new business. It's an addition to a business in Boynton Beach. And the general concept is this is a mobile training area that can go into our neighborhoods instead of having to have a place where kids or people have to come to be trained and have their conference areas. The bus can go to the neighborhoods that need it the most. So we're excited about this project, and we look forward to seeing you this Friday at 6 o'clock. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor.
Yes.
Excuse me, my question is for staff. I'm just saying, I know they will be coming into communities, but I'm just making sure that everything will be legal. I'm just saying, because for parking, et cetera.
Coordinate programs. We've already been talking to Ms. Gray about bringing it into neighborhoods, and it would be through our recreation programs or through our department that will coordinate.
Okay, thank you. Don't want any hiccups. Okay.
Hi, I'm Lisa Kali Hargrove. I'm here about a property that I own at 810 North Federal Highway in Boynton. Really kind of just wanted to make some suggestions and thoughts, and through my experience that I'm having. I've had the property for about 16 years, and I've got some equipment and things in there that I've been running my business with. I had a gentleman who purchased the property to the south of me probably about 4 or 5 years ago, and I think he had a beekeeper that he rented to. He has 2 tenants in there, and I saw the little house, and et cetera, et cetera. So, so anyway, I guess she's moved out, and he had a problem because suddenly bees were on my property. So I got a letter from the city about bees and how I needed to make sure to clear out bees off of my property, which cost me $500 to clear out the bees. And so in addition to the letter from the city for the bees, I got an extensive letter about my property, how within 20 days you wanted me to re-asphalt, you wanted me to re-landscape, you wanted me to do an awful lot of things that come to about $8,000 worth of work. I said, just let me grab the bag of money under my desk and I'll get right at it. So I guess what I'm here for is a little bit of help. I went to the CRA. I found out that your packet's pretty thick, and that I have to be approved for credit, even though what you would be doing through the CRA is to be reimbursing me money that I would have already spent, which of course I don't even have, to take care of this. I did get the one letter that you all sent out early in March 7th of 2019, where you're trying to beautify the area, and you're feeling like people will come if it looks a little bit better. I have some suggestions for that. In Delray Beach, they would do charrettes, and basically if there were a particular area they wanted people to concentrate on, they'd put some plans together. The city would actually help. So in my case, and probably other property owners' cases, there would be other asphalt people that you would talk to and maybe get good deals for them, and then make suggestions and say, let's see, if we gave you 4 or 5 of these to do, what could you do for these people? How could we help them? How could we financially help them? And we could all put our heads together as a team, as opposed to a nasty letter from the city saying I have 20 days to come up with $8,000 I don't have to fix something that I didn't know needed fixed. So So I don't know from here what you're going to suggest for me. Maybe it's a separate meeting with someone. But, I mean, for the most part, your staff has been lovely. Patrick Hart's a very nice man, and Bonnie at the CRA is a lovely person. Seems like your personnel is going well. I've been here over 20 years, and I can tell you I've interacted with Boynton in the past, and it's not what I see up there today. You guys seem much more open and wanting for everyone to give you ideas. So I appreciate that, and I'm looking forward to some input from you.
All right. Yes.
Thank you. No,
Commissioner
don't go. Please don't go. Turn around, please. Okay, they just pulled up a picture. You know, I'm just saying, where's your property located?
It's 810 North Federal. I do have little small pictures. Did you want my little small pictures?
It might be in my district. They're pulling it up now for me to see, but I'm just saying, so I know what is really.
It's a small little building. It has a fence all the way around it, a black fence. It has a building to the south that's like a two-story. He's got 2 apartments on above.
Well, I know where it is now. Down by the car lot on the left-hand side.
It's like G&L car lot is just to the south. And then there's like an Indian store. I think that's what she sells, Indian food and things. And she's right next to me. And then there's a motel behind me. And then there's a private residence behind me.
Okay, that's in my district, and what we need to do is really get staff, like they kind of come up with, some extensions, to like help you, to help you get some of this stuff through. So I'm just going to tell staff,
Absolutely, we'll work with her.
To work with you.
I would appreciate that. And I'm behind 100% where you're going with improving in the area, but I do seriously think it would be a great idea if we took all of the property owners that are there and around and tried to get us all in a room and said, okay, if we all wanted to come together and do this at the same time, I'm sure there would be, money discounts for all of us and ways for us to do it in a timely fashion, and it would sort of coordinate better. And I really think that that's a good way to do it. Plus, I think it's great PR for Boynton. I think that, we'd all be saying positive things as opposed to, I got another nasty letter,
We'll look into it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your suggestions as well.
Is there anyone else for public audience? Seeing none, moving on to administrative. We have no one applied for any of our advisory boards. The openings are an alternate for the Arts Commission, 2 alternates for the Building Board of Adjustments and Appeals, student members of the Education Youth Advisory Board, an alternate for the Historic Resource Preservation Board, 1 regular and 2 alternates for the Library Board, 1 alternate for the Senior Advisory Board. The next item 5B is the amended to in addition to appointing a voting delegate for the Florida League of Cities annual conference to allow anyone on the commission who would like to travel to any of the Florida League of Cities conferences or policy committees the ability to do so. I believe I will be there for August 15th to the 17th. I was the delegate last year. Is there anybody else that would like to be the delegate?
Mayor, I won't be attending that because it conflicts with something else that I'll be doing, but I would like to attend the legislative policy, which is happening later this month in Orlando, I believe.
All right. Commissioner Pinzerga?
I'll volunteer to be the voting delegate.
Wonderful. All right. Do we have a nomination or a second?
Second.
All those in favor state so by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Seeing none. And may I have a motion to approve board travel to Florida League of Cities conferences and hearings?
Second.
All those
for discussion.
Yes.
I know that we're supposed to go and represent the city, with delegation and voting, et cetera, and laws. But, my concern is, and I, want to say it now, is that when you all go, can you all come back, at one of our commission meetings and say, this is what we learned, this is what we voted upon, when we're spending money from citizens. I'm just saying, 2 or 3 lines that make me feel happy. I'm just saying,
All right, absolutely.
That's my concern.
I'd be more than happy to do that.
Thank you.
All right.
Ready to vote?
I've tried to do that as much as I can, at least a footnote usually when I come back from any conference that I've gone to, but I'll be more than happy to go into more detail if you'd like, Commissioner.
Thank you. Ready to vote?
All right. All those in favor state so by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Consent agenda. I'd like to pull item 6E. Is there any other items to be pulled? So item 6E is proposed resolution 19-061, approve the award of the City of Boynton Beach Entrepreneurship and Business Incubation Grant to the first-ranked grant applicant for each of the 6 grant categories and authorize the city manager to sign grant agreements with the 6 recipients. And so I'd like to know how they were judged, who they are, and I guess is David here to give us a little presentation, because I believe this is the first time we've done this, correct?
This is the first time we've done it. David Scott, Director of Economic Development and Strategy for the City of Boynton Beach. Last year, in this year's budget, the City Commission approved about $50,000 to be directed towards entrepreneurship and incubation. Thank you for the forethought of the City Commission of understanding that small businesses are really the core of the city, and we look to support them in any way we can. So this is just one more toolbox in our toolkit for economic development within the City of Boynton. Let's see, there we go. This grant was advertised, and it directs money towards new and existing incubators as well as small work groups. What we wanted to do is make sure that we targeted any existing incubators that were out there that would support small businesses, as well as any new incubators that would also form together to support small businesses within the city. But then we also wanted to make sure that we understood what was out there. And so we created 4 $2,500 grants for work groups, people that would come in and focus on youth, women, technology, as well as regional approaches to entrepreneurship, and focus on those core groups and bring a report back to the city to say this is what's good, this is what's working, and these are some of the best practices around those specific areas. With the goal, our goal is to really think about as we go forward and look at opportunities such as the What Works Cities with Bloomberg for larger grants. We'll have a lot of information generated from these reports that we can then present to for that application. These are the categories, as I mentioned, that were set up. We have $20,000 each for 1A and 1B, the existing incubator grant, as well as the new incubator grant. And then I mentioned the $2,500 grants towards women, youth, technology, and regional. The regional approaches, we have Palm Beach County, we have worked with the state, and some federal projects, and we look at how do we work together, as well as our local partners, being the BDB, and some of the local cities here in the county. How do we all work together to create a entrepreneurship enterprise and provide that support around what we do as a group? We advertised this grant on the city website pushed out through our social media. We did a press release. Commissioner McCray asked us to make sure we tapped into that. So we did a press release as well as direct email to those partners that we are aware of and those that may be interested in this grant. Those partners being the BDB, reached out to the Chamber, Palm Beach State College, because we wanted to make sure they pushed it out to their partners, South Tech, and a few others were sent emails. The grant opened on April 3rd and closed on May 3rd. Our goal is to get these partners up and running so that we can expend this grant by the end of this budget year. And we are requesting, if this grant is successful, we're requesting additional funding into next year, and we'll be able to repeat the grant and reach out to any additional partners. The organizations that responded are before you: 1909, Be Lead Grow, Beach Labs, Connect to Greatness, CBDC, Goddess School, and Referral AIM.
Excuse me,
Yes,
Mr. Scott,
yes, sir.
I'll
go back.
Go back to your...
Yes, sir.
What is a 1909 Boynton Beach?
That is one of the groups that responded.
Right, but
yes.
explain what do they do? This is what I please.
Yeah, we invited each one here to, if you desired, that
Well,
they
I
could
need
present.
to know, although they have been awarded the money, I'd like to know what they do. Okay, Connect to Greatness is about the only one that I could, relate to, because they said that they was having a graduation, which I would not be able to attend, but things like that, I could connect with these. But when I see 1909 Boynton Beach, I don't know what 1909 Boynton Beach.
We've asked each one here, Commissioner, to present their project, and if you had any questions, that's why we invited each one here.
I have questions because I need to know when we're giving money. I know we're trying to get out of
Absolutely.
here, but I want to know what do they do.
Absolutely. Would you like me to go? I could go through it, each of the proposals.
Whichever's going to be the easiest way for me to understand.
David, I think since we have the president here of 1909, it might be easier for them to talk about what they're doing and what they plan on doing with the money.
Yes.
Yeah.
Joe?
Hey, Mayor, Commissioners. My name is Joe Russo. I'm the Executive Director of 1909. I came previously and shared a little bit about our forthcoming proposal that we did put into and respond to this RFP for section, I believe it was 1B, for a new business incubator grant, and 2 of the working groups, specifically the regional networks on entrepreneurship and the technology sector as well. Also in the audience today, we have Lucas Vogel, who is a member of 1909, resident of Boynton Beach, who we discussed this actually just yesterday in being here. But very specifically, what we're doing here in Boynton Beach, what we proposed in the RFP, is very similar to what we're doing currently in the city of West Palm Beach and the city of Delray Beach. So currently, we have 2 ongoing business accelerators that have a total of 32, just doing the quick math in my head, 32 total entrepreneurs between the 2. They're going through a 6-month process where they're getting 2 months of in-class curriculum taught by our trained facilitators that are entrepreneurs themselves. They have built companies locally before, and in that process, they're also learning from their fellow classmates. After that 2-month period, they're going to go through 4 months of mentorship from local mentors. Now, out of the people that we are going to be working with through that accelerator program, we're going to also work with them through working groups, as is listed in our RFP. We want to dive down, as per the city's desire, into what is really going on in technology and really going on in the regional network of entrepreneurship throughout Palm Beach County. So we talked about Delray Beach and West Palm. Obviously, there are people going in between the borders of our cities, in between the borders of our communities. And what we build collectively in Palm Beach County is going to impact the entrepreneurship ecosystem collectively amongst us. But Boynton Beach is right in the middle of where we're currently doing 2 successful programs, and we see this being perfectly scalable. And there was a section in the grading and the scaling process about scalability, and we scored high in those marks with the intent of not only building this here for today, but also building it for years to come in the city of Boynton Beach. Is there any specific questions I should?
No, but see, that's what I'm talking about. Now I know what a 1909 Boynton Beach is.
And the brief bit of trivia there, we were building an organization for founders, and 1909 is the founding year of Palm Beach County.
Thank you. I feel better now.
Thank you, Joe.
Who's B. Lee Grow? I need to know whether they.
Would you like the rest of? Okay, B. Lee Grow.
Yeah.
Hello, my name is Dr. Angela Shuttlesworth, and I'm the founder and CEO of Be Lead Grow. I currently work out of the co-work Boynton operations that are on Quantum Boulevard. So my company overall is geared toward preventing and healing toxic work environments. So we do things such as employee engagement, leadership empowerment, and establishing safe spaces for creativity and innovation. So one of those things is obviously as a barrier is we've talked about the Palm Beach County overall did a disparity study. And so I'm not going for the same grant that he just mentioned. My portion is specifically to the women's entrepreneurs and finding out what are the issues that they face. So my company has a healthy model, which if you see the survey, and I have copies if you don't have it, I see one of the members has the proposal up. I gave an example of the survey that they will go through, and it is asking various questions. So for example, honor everyone's journey. It talks about what were the things that were in their personal, social capital that has either supported them in being a successful entrepreneur and or hindered their ability to be able to do so. Their ability to establish excellence as their norm. What education background did they have? Did they try to seek certifications and didn't get them? What kind of supports could the city do? So I provided in the proposal various different things that we would do to work with the entrepreneurs to get this information and to create a report of sorts that he said that the city could build upon to give information. So you're not just using money haphazardly, but instead saying what are the actual needs. So they asked for us to give a timeline for what we would produce for the first 2 months. And specific to this would be not only looking at registered vendors that are with the city of Boynton Beach, but also looking at vendors that are registered as minority woman business enterprises with the state, with the county, and in local areas that also may be housed in Boynton Beach, and having a actual focus group that we'll hold at Co-work Boynton, and also allowing them to participate online as well. And then we'll take all of that data, produce the report, and submit that to you all.
All right, what is the timeline for submitting that report back to us? I'm just saying, is it a year,
The grant is 4 months.
4 months, so.
And they asked us specifically to identify what outlines would be done within the first 2 months. And then everything else, of course, comes in afterwards.
I don't think I got that, but anyway, I feel better now. See, this is what I'm saying. When I know who's Beach Labs. I'm sorry I'm taking over the meeting, but I need to know what you all are doing.
Hi, Mr. Mayor. I'm Ronald Russo, founder of Beach Labs. I'd like to say I'm not related to Joe. We are friends. We do have the same last name. Beach Labs is a creative agency and incubator that I found just this year in April. It was ironic, after setting it up a couple of weeks later, I read about this opportunity, so it seemed like it made sense to put in an application. I think the primary reason, I live right over in South Palm Beach, right over the Lantana Bridge, and I'm currently looking for office space in Boynton Beach. That said, I'd like to withdraw my application. I think that Joe has done an incredible job in downtown West Palm Beach, as well as Delray, listening, and this is a spur of the moment. This is nothing that was pre-planned. But I do support what he's doing. He's doing, again, a great job in downtown West Palm and in Delray. Everything that he said makes perfect sense. The program is to build entrepreneurs, spur economic growth, and he certainly has an amazing establishment to do just that. I'm passionate. I have a 501c3 called beachlabs.org. It's to bring awareness to save the beaches and the environment. So I'm sure in the future Boynton Beach will hear more from me about that. But I love the area, love what he's doing, and think that everything you guys are doing here collectively is a great job, and I'm happy, although not wanting to go for the grant now, I'm happy that I'm a part of it.
All right. So you're saying you're withdrawing your application?
Yeah, absolutely. They're far more qualified to help the community than me.
Well,
so
we have to think about giving them the money. Well, what's the next group?
Thank you.
Let me just add, Commissioner, that this is the list of all the applicants. Later on in the presentation, we're talking about who was #1 in the awards. So this is a list of every applicant that came in, just for clarification.
I know Connect to Greatness. I know what that is. I'm just saying, but
I'd still like to
Connect to Greatness. You still like to present?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you all. I'm Cassandra Corbin Thaddeus, and I am the president of Connect to Greatness. And Connect to Greatness is an organization that empowers African American middle school boys to become leaders and change makers in the world. Our proposal is specifically looking at youth and what their interests are as it relates to post high school careers. We are proposing to survey youth from 3 schools specifically, Boynton Beach High School, Quantum, as well as South Tech Academy. We will be asking the first and kind of second choices and interest in terms of that, and then I'll have Sheila talk a little bit about the evaluation piece. But that will give us a sense of what there are over 3,100 youth in Boynton Beach or in high school, and we're proposing to survey 10% of them, so about 310 students we're proposing to survey. And then we would like to, based on what we hear from our youth, identify businesses in Boynton that align with those interests, and then also be able to identify the gaps. So our work will be working with the youth as well as with the businesses to identify what we are calling youth-friendly businesses that may, if where there's alignment, may be interested in offering apprenticeships, may be interested in offering internships, or maybe even summer work for some of these students to kind of try out where their interests lie. So that's kind of our proposal. And I'll have Sheila talk a little bit about the evaluation piece and how we're looking at that with both.
We're planning to do 2 instruments, separate instruments, one with the youth in which they will identify their skills and their beliefs about themselves as entrepreneurs and their career interests. Then the other part of it will be, as Cassandra said, looking at the existing businesses, business types, to see if those align, especially where you have 10 career academies in one school, and I believe it's 13 in the other. And I worked 40 years with the school districts. I retired from education, and so I have a lot of experience with those schools and the types of programs they have. So we'll look at that. We'll see if these 2 things align. If your businesses in Boynton align with the prospects of the students. If the students, what happens in vocational ed sometimes, and has happened for a long time, is that youth want to have a certain career, but when they end, as someone said earlier, I believe it was our representative, they get done and there's no career for them. So we'll be looking at what they intend as careers, and then perhaps get mentorships, internships, things like that started.
Mr. Pinsurga, you have a question?
Yes, I have a question. First of all, I think what you're doing is wonderful. I think it's a wonderful idea. What happens after you connect them with that business or entrepreneur mentor? Do you keep track of them afterwards? What happens after?
For this grant, there's no built-in part for that. For this grant, we will be collecting the data, we'll be interviewing, we'll be talking to the businesses and trying to connect them. It would be a whole other additional part to then do follow-up. But in doing the research, there has not a lot of research for high school students in career education in this area, in entrepreneur. So it will be beneficial for Boynton Beach to be one of the forerunners in collecting this data, analyzing it, and connecting the businesses with the youth.
I think your question might have been also related to Connect to Greatness and you talking about our current cohort. Was that more of the question, or was it about the grant, the proposal?
Because
If you could speak to that too, I'd be more than happy to.
So our boys come into our program in the 6th grade, and they stay with us until they're in the 8th grade. So there's a 3-year time frame that we actually have with our boys. Once they graduate, we're actually on our last year with them, and they're going into the 8th grade this year. So once they graduate, we call them at the end of 8th grade graduation change makers. So which means now they will come back into the organization as peer coaches. Instead of mentors, we use the word coaches because that resonates with the community and our boys. But they come back and become peer coaches with the little kids. And then they also continue to connect with their coaches that they've had in the program over the last 3 years. And this is how we're going to ensure that the ultimate goal, of course, is to have them graduate high school. So that's our way of kind of keeping our hands on them throughout and supporting them with the resources as they continue their path through high school.
Is this something you're already doing at a smaller scale, and this grant will help you expand?
So we are already, so Connect to Greatness has been around for about 2.5 years. We'll be 3 in September. And so this grant is looking ahead at what is possible for our boys, because they will be entering high school in another year. So this is a great opportunity for us to know what's already available and to help the city of Boynton to know where the gaps are. So right now we can begin to support the work together and ensuring that where the interests lie, we also have some connectors for our youth.
Thank you.
Yep.
Good evening, Commissioners, Mayor. My name is Annette Gray. I am the founder of GBDC Entrepreneurship Institute, and to my dismay, I actually found that you have an unedited copy in your packet, so I'd like to give you this. So GBDC has been around for about 12 years. We've gone through a variety of organizational structure. It started with my passion of wanting to work with entrepreneurs, and I started as a consultant with the SBA, some of our local SBA resource partners, Florida Women's Business Center, Center for Enterprise Opportunity, as one of their lead consultants, technical assistant, counselor, and workshop trainer and conference speaker. That grew into my actually developing the GBDC Business Development Center. I felt strongly that we needed to be more technical in our assistance to our local businesses and help them move the needle a little bit more than just them coming in, getting counseling, and leaving. As it stands, however, it wasn't very competitive for GBDC because it was not a nonprofit organization. The majority of the funding went to SBA partners. So about 4 years ago, I transitioned from a for-profit organization to a nonprofit, hence the GBDC Entrepreneurship Institute. We do focus on developing entrepreneurs of all ages. We say we're 9 to 99, and that is actually an accurate accounting of clients that we've served. So we do have youth programs. We also have adult programs where we help entrepreneurs launch from concept to implementation of their business. We also provide some back-end and incubator support for those organizations. We also work with private and public sector organizations to help to create entrepreneurial cultures within their organization. So in this case, entrepreneurship doesn't necessarily mean someone going out and starting their own enterprise. It does, however, mean that some of the trait skills that are unique to entrepreneurs, we try to encourage public and private sector organizations to embody that in their workforce population. So as a whole, that is what our physical nonprofit incubator does. This particular grant will focus on developing and capacity building and technical assistance for businesses that are currently within your Boynton Beach boundaries. We worked closely with your business tax receipt office, and we'll focus on businesses that have an existing business tax receipt within startup 1 year to 5 years. Our program goes beyond mentorship and counseling and workshop. We focus on technical assistance. So for example, one of our programs will be our weekend business startup boot camp. When you finish that program, you would have named your business, incorporated your business, select an EIN number, register as a vendor with the state, and possibly have a one-page or website and have ordered your business cards. So we focus on the tangibles. We're a results-oriented program. Another program is our business plan writing program, and you will leave that particular workshop or program with a draft business plan. That is how we differ. We did apply under the existing business incubator.
Ms. Gray, before you go, I'm just saying, you appeared before, I'm just saying, the commissioners many years, constantly, and we have been giving you donations. I'm just saying, did the police department give you donations? Okay, I just want to make sure that, we've been helping all along. I'm just saying, I want to, at least say that, you iterate, that, we have been giving you funds.
Absolutely.
Okay.
The funds have been a variety of programs within your boundaries. I am very grateful for the continued support and the awesome working relationship I have with you and staff.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Amanda Minton, and I run the Goddess School. And with the grant fund, I really want to know why there are so many brick and mortars in downtown Boynton Beach that don't have anyone in them, but especially there is one cute little Soul Oasis shop with a whole bunch of women in there kind of hiding. And instead of being out with their own sign, their own flag saying, hey, this is what I do, I'm an esthetician or a massage therapist or a number of other things, and really finding out what is the barrier. Is it because they don't know how to run a website? Is it because Instagram keeps changing, and if that's how we're reaching people and that's where the advertisement needs to be now, and we can't get a grasp on that, we're not going to reach people? So is it the fear of the technology, or really just not having a mission? We have goals, right? Like, I want to reach this many steps or make this much money, but a mission is really the thing that can carry us for a lot longer. So having our clarity and really defining that, is that what's holding us back? I think right now we don't really know, and with this grant, I want to find out.
Let me go ahead and say, with the CRA, if there's a new business or something like that, a lady is starting, anybody is starting, we have staff down there that will help them, get their business off the ground and publicize it for them and show them how to do this and how to do that. And I'm just saying, I don't want us to duplicate something that's already out there, but, I'm just listening.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Into the microphone.
Founder, I'm a better photographer than orator. Founder and photographer of Referral Aim, and if you'd like, I can pass on what Referral Aim is. We teach photography skills to youth and veterans, and we tailor photography equipment to their specific entrepreneurial interests. So whether it's food and beverage, science, sports, real estate, we give like portraiture macro lenses, which is specifically for flora, fauna, and also can be for food. We'll give landscape lenses. We give action lenses and standard wide angle lenses. And we have confirmed 20 to 40 youth in collaboration with Big Brothers Big Sisters. And we also, we spoke with Todd Johnson at the Azul Junior Community Center, and he's also in support of the project for 20 youth, and they would be taught weekday evenings and weekends, approximately 2 to 3 hours, and by the end of each program, which would run 4 to 6 weeks, all the youth would learn specific photography skills, and they would also build their own Visora online website platform. And they would also obtain editing skills, so using VSCO editor. They would also learn how to maintain the integrity during the editing process. And they would also create calendars for photography-related competitions. And we're starting with youth and then branching out to veterans.
Thank you.
I feel better now. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you. So I know this is hard to see, but included in the RFP was the criteria specifically. They were project design, scalability, sustainability, institutional capacity, financial plan, and partnerships. So each of the categories was evaluated based upon this criteria, with all of the scoring adding up to a total of 100 points for each category. We assembled a team of evaluators, and they included Debbie Majors, Salika Brown, and John Durgan. Those evaluations were done independently and tallied up to determine the first, second, and third ranked applicant for each category. Category 1A, which was the existing incubator grant, only had one submittal, and that was GBDC. Category 1B had 3 submittals to respond to that category. There were the 1909 referral AIM and Beach Labs, with 1909 coming out number 1 in that category. Category 2, which is the 4 workshops or work groups, with the first one being around women. 2 submittals came in, Bead Lead Grow and Goddess School, with Bead Lead Grow being number 1 in that category. Category 2 for entrepreneurship for youth. 1 submittal came in for that one. That was Connect to Greatness, so therefore they were recommended as number 1. Category number 2, again, for entrepreneurship and technology. That was 1909. And just for clarification, 1909 submitted just for category 1B, as well as the technology and the regional networks. So they also came in first for the regional networks under category 2. With that, this is where we're going to have each one make their short presentations. But Commissioner, thank you for bringing them up early. So at this point, I'll entertain any questions that you may have.
How do we know how much money each group is going to get? That's what I'm going to be voting on.
That was broken down. Each one is getting the 2 under category 1 as a 1A and 1B. So the first ranked firm in 1A is getting $20,000. The first ranked firm in 1B is getting $20,000. And then each of the 4 number 1 ranked firms is getting $2,500 apiece.
Asked it another way. Everybody that appeared tonight, are they getting money?
No. Initially, I mentioned that all the ones that appeared before you tonight, they were each of the applicants that came in. So this is the final recommendation of the evaluation.
All right, give me the groups that's not. Go back to your list and give me the groups who's not receiving money.
All righty.
That'll make it easier
All
for
right,
me.
let's make it easier. This is the total list. The group that's not receiving money under category 1B was Beach Labs Incorporated and Referral Aims, with 1909 being granted that award for $20,000. For category 2 women, Goddess School and B. Lee Grove came in. B. Lee Grove will be awarded $2,500. Goddess School did not win that award. So those are the 3 organizations that will not receive. Goddess School, Referral Aim, and Beach Labs.
Commissioner McCray, do you have any other questions?
I know Goddess School, Referral Aim will
And
not be
Beach Labs.
receiving it, and Beach Labs, they was withdrawing the application anyway.
They were not, yes, they were not
So
awarded.
it's Goddess and then Referral.
Goddess, Referral, and Beach Labs withdrew tonight.
Last 2 I'm looking at, they're not getting any money.
Correct.
All right. Ooh.
Commissioner Romulus, you have a question?
Yes, I'd like to see how the committee ranked. Is that provided to us at all?
Yes, ma'am. Copies of that.
Oh, you have it individualized. There's no compilation of the 3?
I have it here.
I guess, David, next time if you could sum it up onto one sheet of, instead of all the,
Instead of individuals, yes. So this is the summary of all of the individual score sheets. In your package, you have the individual score sheets. This is their summary. So Salika Brown, while each one scored and had a total numerical score, we then converted that numerical score into a rank for each one. And then there's an evaluation rank. So, example, GBDC had a total evaluation rank of 3, and a lower rank means they're the number 1. So you'll see a number 1 category rank and a check next to that, which means they are the number 1 ranked organization. And it's done this way to normalize those scores. So, if, for example, Salico scored an 86, where Debbie Majors, for just an example, scored a 59, but each one is a number 1. And you can see that in the second category, 1B, where it really makes a difference for each of the 3.
Maximum number being 100?
100.
Got it. So for the other categories, the category 2s, the groups that are by themselves, it's because they were the only ones that
Correct.
Applied
Correct.
for those. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Serga.
I have a question, but I think it may be more so for Mr. Russo. First of all, let me say that I'm very excited for 1909 and for you to be thinking about Boynton Beach. It's great for our future, and it'll be not just good for the people, but it's a symbol of where the city will be going. And it's successful in West Palm, it's successful in Delray, and it's our turn. I wanted to ask you about the financing, because $20K is substantial, but I have a feeling it's not all there is. Have you researched the rest of the financing? Have you secured?
Yes, so the entire organization was begun on November 1st with the generous support of the Knight Foundation and a $250,000 grant between 1909 and the FAU Adams Center for Entrepreneurship, which is our primary partner in this project. And something they're actually ongoing now over the summer is actually developing curriculum for us for the future, for ongoing cohorts and for ongoing programs. So with the financing that we have, it's built scalable, and it is the exact financial structure that we currently have in our other ongoing programs. So we're taking our $20,000 grant and mixing it obviously with the two $2,500 grants to be able to have it in total a $25,000 program that can be scaled and be able to fulfill all of the desires of the city into one holistic effort. So we have an economy of scale type of process going on. All the participants are going to be asked to pay a fee that essentially covers the cost of all the materials of the program. That fee will not exceed $300 for that 6-month period, and we have been eveningly distributing that out to about $50 a month for our current ongoing programs. So once we add up all of the dollars, that pays for our facilitation costs, the cost of the materials, the programs, and all of the little things, the consumables, the licenses that we have for our curriculums and all of the things in sort. So that's all in the budget and all in the financial plan, but it is workable right now with our current programs, and it is scalable beyond that for our organization in the long run.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Any other questions? Yes,
Yeah,
Commissioner
and
McCray.
my question is for Mrs. Scott. Okay, I'm having some problems right now because 1909 is going to be getting $25,000. Am I figuring this right? $25,000 for 1909. They get $20,000, and then on the category 2 technology, that's $2,500. Regional networks or whatever it is, they get another 20. That's
25 total.
$25,000. Okay. Who came up with these totals? That's what I'm saying. I have people that's trying, coming in.
When we looked at the $50,000, we tried to decide whether or not we're going to make one single $50,000 grant for our businesses or incubators. And we didn't kind of looked at the landscape, talked with folks at our partners at BDB, other cities, and tried to determine how we can spread the $50,000 out to get the maximum impact. And rather than identifying what that market target was going to be on the city side, we wanted the private sector to tell us what was important and what they need to look at and what we should be doing differently. So we came up with and made a recommendation, and I guess we're making a recommendation tonight, that the board not only accept the ranking, but we also suggested the two $20,000 grants, as well as 4 individual work groups. 1909 just happened to come in. Others could have come in also and applied for more than one grant. We didn't specify that if you won one, you couldn't come in on another one. So each one was evaluated separately by the selection committee, so they ended up getting both the 1B as well as 2 of the $2,500 grants individually.
Okay, GBDC, $20,000. They've been here before, and I'm just saying, and we giving them more money through the police department and some other kind of grants, and I'm just trying to figure out from Mrs. Gray, how much money have we given your group all year?
I'm not actually able to answer that question on the spot at the moment, but I do want to make a distinction between my incubator and some of the other programs that you've heard tonight. We are not a fee-based program. That $20,000 would be all free programming to all of the participants in the grant that we're discussing tonight. In addition, we're giving $500 back in tangible assets to the participants who are competitive in our program, that they can choose between a website that would be paid for them, or business cards or marketing materials. So while I have received funding in the past year, you're quite accurate, those are for specific youth-based programs. This program is a capacity building grant for your small businesses that came out of your survey, and I took the survey that was done within your city limits and I compared it to the programs we are going to deliver to answer the deficiencies within your survey. Additionally, we're different in that our melt bus will go to folks who cannot come to an incubator lab. The bus will go to people who cannot leave their small businesses to go to a program to get consulting. So we are mobile, and that is the primary distinct difference between our application and other applications.
Okay, but the programs that you had prior, okay, I'm not beating you up, but it's not making too much sense because it was youth-based before, and you're coming out now with the MELT, okay, and seems like, you know, my concern is that, you know, I don't like to see money going, I don't care how good a program is, you know, it look like one group is getting more money than the rest of them, and I have problems with that when, you know, we say we're trying to reach out, and I hope next time the group, you know, take this under consideration, that they be a little more lenient and be more little, like saying, you know, hey, we need to try to take care of everybody. I'm just saying, if a person I'm like this feeling, they do their application and they have a concern, you know, then let's be diligent with the money. You know, I'm just saying, you know, whatever, you know, we give you, be grateful and work with that, and then give everybody else a chance. That's the way I see it, you know, but it is what it is for tonight, but at the next one, I hope they do better.
All right. David, I got a question. Ms. Gray, I know that you've done some great presentations in the past to our board. Is that part of the RFP, is that they will be doing a presentation towards the end of all the grant recipients?
Yeah, that's just part of my way of saying thank you and bringing in the program results, and so that you can hear from the participants and not necessarily just from me or a report, so you can experience through the eyes of the participants.
And David, is that part of it, that we'll have a brief announcement after the 4 months?
Yes, at the end of the 4 months, because that's the end of the fiscal year.
Yeah.
Each of the grants is reporting out on their findings, and the incubator has some specific criteria that they have to respond to.
In order to get the...
Yes, a 2 month and then a 4 month final report.
And they get paid after the 2 month and 4 month?
On the work groups, they get paid up front because it's so small.
Yep.
They're $2,500 a piece, so they get paid to get started up because we didn't want to overburden our small work groups. But the larger ones get $10,000 up front and then 25 and 25.
All right. Or you mean 5 and 5?
5 and 5, yes,
All right.
5 and 5.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Commissioner Pensurga?
I have a question for Ms. Gray. Perhaps I missed it earlier. I apologize if I did, but on the topic of sustainability of the melt bus, you mentioned that you don't collect any fees. So if we were to award you the $20,000, What happens after the 20,000?
The melt bus is actually underwritten by advertising on the bus. So very similar as you see the Palm Trend buses that have adverts from corporate sponsors and local businesses. It's the same business model that we would use for sustainability.
Thank you.
Any further questions from the board?
My final comment is that for those who did not receive any funds, please, kind of get back in the program again, and maybe next time it'll be your time, but I really feel bad for you. I'm sorry, but I'm one vote.
May I have a motion to approve the ranking as stated?
Second.
Any further discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor state so by saying aye.
Aye.
All those
I'm
opposed?
going to say nay.
I say aye.
Thank you.
And do so. The motion passes 4-1. May I have a motion to approve the remainder of the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor state so by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? And now we have the new consent agenda over 100,000. May I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor state so by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Seeing none. Yes, Vice Mayor?
If the commission would allow it to add an item to future agenda items, and it's no urgency, so it could be July or August, but in response to one of the speakers and their comments on the Dog Beach, I feel like we had the event and we've kind of not followed up as far as the future of similar events or expansion of potential usage on a regular basis. So if we could add the future agenda items in July or August, a discussion about the next step in Dog Beach activity.
I would prefer it in August, so that sounds fine by me. And I found another announcement that the City Hall is having a tilt party. What is a tilt party? On Monday, June 17th, the walls of City Hall will be tilted up and the public is invited to watch. Join us anytime from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Lunch and drinks will be provided. Parking will be available on site and accessed from First Street. Follow the directional signs. For further details, follow the city's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Nextdoor accounts. Thank you. Eleanor Crucell, Marketing Director. Is there any other statements from the board? Seeing none, may I have a motion to adjourn?
Second.
All right.